Banjo, Narama, Bayami, Bolong, Guru, Yon, Daro, Nargai, Garanji. Baba, Shulam 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 Baba, yep. Shulam Baba. Shulam Baba. Shulam Baba. Shulam Baba. Marak, Muk Muk, Marakan, Warambu Mirage, Naditanunga, Marak, Muk Muk Marakan, Warambu Mirage, Naditanunga, Marak, Muk Muk Marakan, Warambu Mirage, Naditanunga. Yo, 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 Waramaya, Taronga TV. As a part of our ancient custom, culture, and most importantly law, is to acknowledge the traditional custodians and caretakers of the land we're now upon. So Waramaya is a word that means welcome to the Sydney language people. On behalf of my ancestors, descendants and elders and young ones both past and present, we welcome you to Taronga TV.
Hello and welcome to a very special episode of Taronga TV this week. My name is Em and I'm one of the reptile keepers here at Taronga Zoo, Sydney, and today it's my absolute pleasure to introduce you to the wonderful Leslie McLeod. Now, the reason why this episode of Taronga TV is so special is because it's NAIDOC week, and we've come together to talk about all things NAIDOC. And as it was National Frog Week last week, we thought we'd talk a little bit about the Southern Corroboree Frog. Here at the zoo, we actually have northern and southern Corroboree frogs, but today I'm going to focus on the southerns. These little guys are actually from Mount Kosciuszko National Park, and they are a critically endangered species. So there's thought to be less than 50 of these little critters in the wild. And here at Taronga Zoo, we have a breeding program to secure this species for the future. And I've actually brought a couple of little frogs along to introduce you. So if you wouldn't mind, give me 2 seconds and I'll grab one out for you. So, this is the tiny, tiny little Southern Corroboree frog. Their maximum length is about 3 centimetres and they weigh about the same as a teaspoon of water. So they are very, very tiny. They've got that beautiful yellow and black marking, which is where they get their name from, the Corroboree frog. And they're actually incredibly toxic. Now, these little guys have this beautiful patterning, and each individual pattern is like a fingerprint for their frog. No two are ever the same, and that's how we actually identify them here at the zoo. So Les, can you tell us your connection to these little frogs and your family's connection to Kosciuszko, where they're found?
Well, my family ties goes through my father's line of our family, our kinship. So my father's father, my grandfather, he was a part of the Ngero people of the Snowy Mountains. So that's my close connection. Grandfather was born down on the Snowy Mountains on the river and lived there up until about 5 or 6 before he was removed off the country. Wow. And he had some interesting stories about the little frog and the ceremonies that took place up on the mountain. So it's a big connection for me.
Absolutely.
To be able to see not only what we're doing here at Taronga, but what we're doing down in the national park to help save this critically endangered species called Guruk, that beautiful little Corroboree frog. So that's my great connection
Isn't that
with
amazing?
that beautiful little animal.
Yeah, gorgeous. So what is the cultural significance of the Corroboree frog?
Well, during the festivals that they used to have up on the mountains, around January, February, where clans from all over Australia would gather on top of the mountains and have corroboree.
That's where they get their name.
That's where they get their name. That ancient place of ceremonies for our people. And when they go up onto the mountain for ceremonies, the men would actually paint themselves in the same colours as Guruk.
Amazing.
And each, like you said, each individual had their own markings that they would paint themselves. And then they would have that corroboree, that celebration of this beautiful creature.
What a beautiful connection.
A marvellous connection. It also goes into the other side, the medicinal side of this little frog.
Yeah, tell me about your grandmother.
So Granny Tangiai, who was a part of the clan that grandfather grew up with, she was a medicine person, a great healer. No doubt she would have had some connection and knowledge passed down through these little fellas here. And she probably would have known which part of that little frog she could use for medicine without poisoning someone.
That's important.
But no, it would have been a great part of healing and ceremony and for her to hold that knowledge. Fingers crossed that knowledge has been passed down through that line of medicine and healers from Granny to her great granddaughters. So
that's incredible.
It's an amazing thing to be told these stories when you're very little, growing up and hearing those stories about that ancient place of ancient gatherings of many, many different clans to celebrate that beautiful, beautiful frog.
Yeah, so it's not only important for us to save this species, but culturally it's an incredibly important element that we should be conserving also.
Yeah, very important that we can save these little ones from extinction because we have too many extinctions here in Australia. To lose one of these would be another big loss to not only to the mountains but to our people that hold and looked after these beautiful, beautiful little critters for thousands and thousands of years.
Yeah, it would be truly heartbreaking to lose these little critters, and to imagine that the future generations to come wouldn't get the opportunity to see them is heartbreaking. So I couldn't agree with you more. So Les, can you tell myself and all the lovely people at home, tell us about NAIDOC Week. What is it?
NAIDOC Week is a week of celebration for Aboriginal and Torres Strait and Little Islander people all around Australia. It's a week of recognising the achievements of our people from the previous year. There are achievements in music, there's achievements in sport, there's achievement in medicine, there's achievement in education. We also have achievements for elders that have been around and done a lot for our people over their lifetime. So it's a great week of celebrations. We don't like to party for one night, we like to party for a week. So NAIDOC is a part of that celebration and acknowledging all our people and the achievements they've made over the last 12 months. But this year we've been bumped back a few months, so we've got a little bit extra time and a little bit more time of celebrating now. So it plays a very, very important part of our culture to say thanks to all the achievements, not only from our little ones, right up to our elders. Beautiful. And the achievements they've made over the last 12 months for our people to get us to where we are today. So it's a great honour to be part of NAIDOC Week with Taronga TV too as well.
It's an absolute pleasure to be here with you, Les, for NAIDOC Week. I feel very privileged to be a part of it. So the theme of NAIDOC Week this week is always was, always will be. And we have so much to learn from the traditional custodians of this land and how we can better educate ourselves on how to look after our own backyard, our environment and the beautiful ecosystem around us. It's incredibly important. So I'd like to say a huge thank you to Les for joining us today on Taronga TV. And you never know what's around the next corner. Thank you very much for watching.